Stupid Garbage Podcast.
Oh, I like that.
Back at it again.
Well, I couldn't remember it.
Yeah,
oh,
no.
Shit.
No, Jessica
Don't record to that, Dolly.
doesn't know what she's doing. So we're here. Hi, sweetie. You a sleepy bear? Want to do this later? Want to do this tomorrow? We do episode tomorrow.
You're so cute.
Sleepy bear.
No.
Huh? You want to go hibernate?
Yes.
Yeah? You want to go have some porridge and then sit in...
I want honey.
Yeah.
But warm.
Yeah.
Porridge is what she takes from us.
Bears don't like boys. Bears like jars of honey. Anyway. So... how's my sleepy bear doing?
You know, I have a Pooh Bear shirt. And I often only wear a shirt. Or like a crop top and no bottoms, and I feel like Pooh Bears. So I feel like the bear thing is really a central theme in our relationship.
Yeah.
So, only because of me.
Feels there's a lot to say about that, and I don't want to say any of it. So, what bear would you say you most embody?
Pooh.
No, okay.
Oh, like a
You're right.
species of bear?
You're right. You fucking got me. I just got.
Baby bear? I don't know.
I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. You shut up for a minute. I asked the question, you said Pooh, and then you realized, as you said, that I was asking about a specific species of bear, not an individual bear, and then your answer, after reframing and better understanding the question, was baby bear.
Yeah.
Which I think is one of the Spice Girls. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
I don't even know what baby bear is. That's not even a thing. You mean
of
from
the Mama,
Goldilocks?
Papa, and Baby Bear, yeah.
Of the Mama, Papa, and what? Cass Elliot? Jessica? Hello? Jessica?
What?
Okay, I thought I lost you.
I've been lost.
Okay, so...
oh my god, wasn't it so funny when my mom was talking about my brother and I, and they were like, yeah, Jess, you were always the old soul, and now your brother has surpassed you. And I was like, yeah, I've lost my way. And they go, yeah, exactly.
Not really. Certainly not good radio.
That was hard to hear.
Yeah, so...
well, it was a funny thing. It could have been good radio if you had chuckled or been like, haha, yeah.
Yeah, your family thinks you're retarded. So,
well,
what I thought you were going to say was way off base is, you remember what was funny, etc., whatever, when you, Jessica Sterner, got lost in Istanbul. Because you...
yeah, it's another getting lost story that's good.
Pouty little tantrum. Stormed off. We were trying to get somewhere. We had an hour to get somewhere that was an hour away. And you ran off in a city that we'd been in for 24 hours of 10 million people.
Yeah.
And a language that you don't speak a word of.
Yes.
On 2 different continents, neither of which you'd really ever experienced.
I think I felt like we had an hour to get somewhere that was like 48 minutes away.
Jessica,
I was like, I can do this. There's time to spare.
I would say, are almost so ignorant towards the just basic practices of time management that I would be surprised if you had never heard the phrase time management.
Sure.
I know I scream it at you once a week, but besides that, if I could go in a time machine and go back 6 years and meet 20-year-old Jessica Sterner and said just casually in conversation,
you mean 43-year-old Jessica Sterner?
She's 49. And I just said...
see, basic arithmetic. That was the last episode. Damn it. That's too bad.
Jessica, memory retention is also an important skill. Talent, I don't know what to call it, really.
We recorded an episode, like, literally less than 5 minutes ago, so...
yeah, you're right, and you've already forgotten what was happening, so... point, counterpoint. Touche, Jessica. You got me. You got me up on the ropes.
What were you going to say I was? What bear? Or you can finish your Istanbul story.
Fuck all that, apparently. I was asking you what type of bear you thought... I was asking you a question. I was not making a point. If you want me to answer it for you, probably koala bear. You're fierce and tiny and have a lot of STDs.
Oh, that was nice and then mean and then meaner.
How is it mean and then meaner? I called you tiny.
I don't like that.
Okay, well, Jessica, you're 4'9". You need to come to terms with the fact that you're smaller than most people.
I'm not 4'9".
As well as most bears.
I am literally the average female height.
I mean, maybe in Nicaragua.
I don't mean to do this, but I can't breathe.
Are you kidding me?
So, I can't breathe.
What are you doing?
My throat's closing up.
You're the worst radio personality in history. Cover your mouth if you're going to cough.
Where's water? Oh, God. This is how I go.
Go to the sink. Go get water. Go get a cup of water. Go leave the live radio. Jessica, okay, you leaving the room. You leaving the... Jessica, stop it. You leaving the house would be better for this radio show than you doing what you're doing right now. Jessica, you can't have an asthma attack on live radio.
I didn't mean it. I didn't plan it.
Okay, but if it happens, you gotta go. If you start choking on something or whatever I don't know, took air down the wrong pipe.
It was like, it just like...
Do you need to be burped? What the hell is happening?
In the back of my throat, and it felt like my throat, like there was a scratch, and my throat was like reacting. Like, you know when you get a cut inside your throat and...
No! I don't know that.
It feels like you're about to die?
We're reviewing Bloodshot. This has gone so far off the rails
I
in
would
5
be...
minutes. I don't care. You'd be Pooh Bear. You'd be... That's fine.
I'd be a throw rug bear.
Okay, first of all, a bearskin carpet is not a throw rug.
You. A bearskin carpet. Or I'd be one of those taxidermy bears that have their arms up over their head and they're going rawr, and they scare people when they walk into a house. I don't identify with any type of bear, to be honest.
You'd be one of the Berenstain Bears because you're Jewish. There you go.
Sure, yeah.
That's all we needed.
Sure. Or, I don't know, black bears I find very cute. So,
okay.
What did you think
What type of bear would I be?
Yeah.
I don't know, Mike Ditka. So,
Is that a gay reference?
No, it's not. Bloodshot.
Okay.
Vin Diesel. That's it. That's the review.
Yeah.
What do you got for us, kid? We saw Bloodshot. Jessica loved it. I was ambivalent.
Don't put opinions in my mouth.
That's not what people say.
I also was ambivalent, I feel like.
Okay. In your love for this movie?
No, it just like...
Didn't know if you loved it or really loved it.
Is that what ambivalent means? Doesn't ambivalent just mean indifferent? It doesn't mean I can't decide between two things.
It could. It very well could.
I'm apathetic towards this movie.
So ambivalent, like ambidextrous.
Either or. Yeah.
So anyway.
Like it could go either way. I like it or I don't like it.
Or you love it or you... How did this turn into Speak and Spell?
It just doesn't feel like the context that it's usually used in.
Okay, well then you need to read more.
You need to stop fucking...
You need to learn...
being a dictator.
You need to learn more words better.
Bleh.
Bloodshot. I am just...
It was fine. I think also, like, it's hard to talk about it because you and I listened to that How Did This Get Made episode about it.
Sure.
And I remember we both were like, fuck it, let's just listen to this. Like, I don't like it when Robert plays me episodes about movies I haven't seen yet. But I was like, oh, we're not going to see this movie. It's fine. So we listened to it, and I agree with everything that they said, which you guys don't know because you didn't listen to it. But I feel like they were...
Oh, my God. Go ahead. You're right. You're right. I won't interrupt you. You're right. Giving me a cold, silent glare for criticizing how you're doing on this radio show proves...
Why don't you...
Proves your point.
I took over because you weren't saying anything. Why don't you speak?
I wasn't saying anything because I was rendered speechless.
Why don't you speak? What are your opinions?
Bloodshot, Vin Diesel, I don't think is still... he's 104. I don't think he's still in the range of being shirt off, punching people in the head, kicking your way through concrete kind of action movies.
I did not feel
particularly
that way.
Okay, well, you said he looked 100 a number of times.
Yeah, when they gave him his... They had two distinct scenes where he was coming out of, like, a fog. One of them was smoke, and one of them was flour. And he was walking...
I thought a peculiar choice. I don't know why they had to do that, because it was not relevant. The flower scene, the smoke, fog, whatever it was, whatever. But why they made the flower scene at all, why there had to be
I loved
that
it.
element to it.
It was literally just artistic.
Yeah, no, I get that, but this was not an artistic movie.
I loved it. I think they were just like, how can we make action more exciting or more...
It wasn't more exciting, it was just weird.
I liked it.
It would be as though, because it was in a tunnel, it would be as though they made the lights green, you know?
I don't know. No, which they did.
Yeah, they made them
The lights
red.
were like green and blue.
Oh, I remember differently. But
okay.
Doesn't matter. Point being, it's not... It was just very, very, very... I think it was a strange choice and a strange visual element to compensate for the fact that the action wasn't very good. And that not a lot happened, actually.
You didn't like the action?
In that particular scene, no, I didn't. I thought it was bored and... It wasn't... in this case, I didn't feel as though there was flour there that happened to, first of all, no one used the flour as any sort of weapon or cover or to any... Normally when I see something like that, a large element like flour or something like...
It was a weird choice.
They're in a fireworks factory or they got pushed into a lake or something. You expect that to become... Particularly when it just happens, right? If they fall out of a plane because they were in a plane and the plane blew up and then they fall into water, I get that. If they fell into land, they die. And so now they're in water because the plot kind of demanded that happen. Fine. This flour thing was entirely... It's not as though Vin Diesel had a job as a flour salesman, or they put the flour into the scenes just because they wanted to. 100%. Vin Diesel was trying to find people, and he cornered them in kind of a tunnel by using a truck that was carrying a bunch of flour that he just hijacked just for the purpose of doing this thing, cornering these people 60 seconds before. So the flour was introduced, and I thought, okay. And your brother too, when we were watching this movie, that he said, "Oh, it's gonna go up in flames because the people who Vin Diesel had cornered lit a bunch of flares so they could see in the dark tunnel." And he said, "Oh, flour is flammable," which it is. It's fairly flammable. And he said, "Yeah, that's gonna become a problem," and then it just didn't. The flour was just there. There was no point. And so I didn't feel as though, it served absolutely no purpose. It was just distracting and weird. And I didn't feel as though it was, interesting action sequences and the flour's there to punctuate these moments or to underscore these or, again, to be used as cover or weapon or anything. It was just all about the flour. Every single punch or kick or roll was just someone throwing flour into the air as they did it, basically. Oh, he kicked this person, and as he did it, a bunch of flour came up with his foot. It just happened by happenstance. It was stupid. And also, the action was pretty mediocre, and all of it was in very slow motion. So I think there were 5 action sequences in a 3-minute scene. It was very slow. I
don't know. I completely disagree with you.
Well, then you're wrong, and that's fine. You're an American citizen. You have the right to be wrong.
God damn, I hate you a lot. I see your point.
I'm just a sweet boy.
Yeah. I see your point of like why flour, but they could have done it with like gunpowder or something like relevant to, military shit or whatever. But
yeah, well, that's not my point of contention. Is that you can't. I mean, you can if you want to make this movie, but I'm saying it's lazy filmmaking to make this scene just because you want to shoot a scene where he's kicking flour through a tunnel. And I know you like visual elements like that, so you don't really care. And you also weren't really emotionally invested in this movie, so neither was I, though, to be fair. So who gives a damn? But I'm saying it's lazy. Either don't do it, or if you're so gung-ho about, you've had this burning desire to shoot a tunnel fight scene surrounded with flour for some reason, if you've had that need within you for 20 years, then fine. Find some flimsy way in the plot to justify why it has to be flour.
Or I feel
Make some tenuous 13-second connection where he says 3 lines and he goes, "Oh yeah, connection with a guy. You can get me a truck, but it has to be..." Make some stupid flimsy reason why there's flour there.
In my opinion, I don't mind the fact that the flour I did find random, and you guys did comment on it, which did like take me out of it, and I was like, yeah, that is weird.
And it makes you think that something's going to happen. And that too, if the flour, if it's random...
I was going to say, though, you interrupted me real quick. Go ahead. And then you can go into it. I was going to... Now I've lost... if the action had just been better, I don't think anyone would have noticed. Like, if we were...
Maybe.
So, to your point, like, it was lazy in that it was just like, well, this is just pretty. Like, if they had paired good action with this weird choice, I think it would have flown under the radar because I would have been so distracted by how cool the punches were.
That's what I'm saying.
But I did find the action to be good, to be honest.
If it underscores the action that's already interesting and compelling, fine.
Yeah.
But this seemed entirely as though... It's not as though they had a really good action sequence and then they thought, oh, let's make some weird visual element in it.
Yeah.
They just shot the scene because someone said, hey, what if we did a fight scene in a tunnel with flour? And someone else went, okay.
We'll write you a couple of punches.
Yes, throw in some flares and you got yourself, I guess, a scene of the movie. But even if there's no... First of all, make some sort of flimsy excuse. But even if you don't do the flimsy excuse, even if you can't find any sort of ability to manufacture a reason for there to be flour in this tunnel or cave or whatever it was, then at the very least have it be useful in some capacity. Sure. Have someone throw it in someone's eyes or use it as cover, or again, light it on fire, and just do something with it so you can justify it being there, because if it wasn't there, then he wouldn't have been able to do fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's lazy writing, but it makes sense, and it's a stupid action movie. I don't need it to be airtight.
Yeah.
But it was just so weird, and then it never came up, and the entire time I was just waiting for someone to do something with the flower.
Yeah.
And then it didn't. Vin Diesel did what he had to do. I guess, spoiler alert, killed the guy, whatever. This was the first 15 minutes of the movie or so. And then the scene ended.
There was one scene where, like, an entire bag of flour was thrown in the air, and I remember being like, what? Like, having the flour powder be on the floor and having it, like, fly up with the kicks, I was like, this is beautiful, this is poetry. But then having, like, a random bag of flour just fly through the shot, I was like, what the fuck is this?
It was so stupid.
And to your point, they weren't using it.
No one was using it. It was useless. It was just there. And also,
I think it just flew because someone moved or something.
Also, it was such... to your point, which was true, have them be in some military... I mean, there'd be an enormous amount of gunpowder, but have them be in some military installation or base or something, and have it be gunpowder. Have it be snow. Have it make sense. It doesn't make sense for a flower truck, whatever the fuck, to be overturned in the middle of this tunnel.
They could have done...
Didn't even have to be overturned. It was specifically overturned so they could do this stupid scene where all the flowers spilling.
They could have done, again, with the rain. They could have...
Sure.
Like, there was a shot where the gun...
Smoke.
There was a shot where the gun fell into a powder pile, and I remember, like, watching it fall, and then the flower was displaced, and I thought that was really pretty. Water does the same thing. It could have very easily... And then, like, once you get the water effect, you get, like, people having to get the hair out of their face and stuff, and it creates a cool, fun... look. Like, they could have done it with something less weird, but... And also, like, flower photography was something that I saw when I was a kid. I'm pretty sure, like, the flower thing is not new. It's not, like, an innovative thing. Like, they kind of missed the mark on when flower things were trending.
I don't...
Like, a bunch of beauty companies did, like, ballet...
Yeah, so
where they would have dancers play in it. So it's like, it's not even trending right now.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah.
So let's start at the very beginning.
Sure, yeah.
A very good place to start. When you read, you begin with...
The first part.
Yeah. So, no, you got it. So, we saw Bloodshot. It's about an hour and 50 minutes. I think it was rated R. And it was supposed to be, and it was very, very, very briefly released in theaters, and then was pulled because of the coronavirus thing, and then made its way onto Netflix, was it? Or was it Amazon?
Amazon?
Okay.
Because we had to buy it, I think.
Which seems... Don't do that.
Fuck,
If you have to buy this movie, don't buy this movie. There are other better Vin Diesel movies that are basically the same movie that you could probably find for free, or might... or whatever, find on Netflix, who cares, find for free on Amazon. Don't buy this movie, certainly. But, so... Yeah, Vin Diesel...
It's very similar to Wolverine, I feel like.
How do you mean?
Like, the origin story of Wolverine and this story I found very similar in... I don't want to spoil a lot of things, but it had the same vibe to me of, like...
Okay, the Weapon X...
Yeah, Weapon X goes awry, and then...
Element, excuse me.
Yeah, and, like, or Element X?
Weapon X element of the story.
I was like, wait.
Sorry.
So, yeah, this, like, they make a good... Or, like, even, like, Captain America. Although Captain America was good always, I guess. But you make a weapon that ends up turning against you, and then you're like, uh-oh, what did we do? And then, you're having,
Oh, no. The storyline of this was extremely hackneyed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the most trite movie I've seen in a long time.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't original.
Yeah,
And watch Wolverine instead.
Yeah, don't watch this movie. So, this movie serves as a Vin Diesel, as I would argue a lot of Vin Diesel movies do. The Triple X movies, Riddick, a lot of the Fast and the Furious. They're all the same, and they all kind of exist as the Fast and the Furious, because there are so many of them and there are so many people in them. You could say it's not just about Vin Diesel all the time. The latest Fast and Furious movie was Hobbs and Shaw. Vin Diesel was not in it at all.
Yeah.
Right? But the early Vin Diesel, or the early Fast and Furious movies, and pretty much every other Vin Diesel movie is just a Vin Diesel vehicle. It exists just so that you can watch Vin Diesel, whether you want to or not. You can watch Vin Diesel flip over a car or punch through a concrete pillar or pretend that he's a superhuman, which at this point, I'm frankly beginning to
he?
believe that he thinks he is. Honestly, he thinks that because he can bench press 280 pounds that he can't die.
I feel like he can't die.
Right. So you've bought into the Vinsanity. So I
feel like it's also like the Jason Statham situation is exactly the same thing. Like he is the exact same thing in every single movie.
Well, it's not so much that I don't mind actors, particularly action stars, being typecast. That, to me, makes some sense from, I guess, a cinematic standpoint. But what bothers me is when if every single Jason Statham movie was just so I could watch some guys, for example, maybe Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's just watching him fight, or Steven Seagal. Good Lord, Steven Seagal's career is horrible. And every single movie there's no plot, there's no interesting anything. It's just this person making this vanity project of them punching people and, that's it. Jason Statham's movies, Crank, The Italian Job, they're interesting movies in which he gets to be an action hero. Or maybe not really even hero, you could argue in a lot of them. But
yeah, I think
he gets to be an action star.
Jason Statham's a pretty cool...
Right. Tom Cruise, the Mission Impossible movies, Edge of Tomorrow, these are good movies in which Tom Cruise does action star things.
And he's not an action... Like, Tom Cruise has been in a ton of stuff that isn't action.
That's true.
I'm saying it's good.
Rain Man.
Because it makes me believe...
Right, but I don't give a shit if someone only does action movies. I don't care. But the movie has to be interesting beyond... There has to be some...
Okay.
There has to be something. And this movie was so... was so derivative of so many other movies that have already... And it was based on a comic book, but that doesn't matter because then the comic book's derivative. I don't fucking care. It's a boring bullshit. I don't know why you... I've felt this way about a lot of movies. I think we talked about Evan Almighty in this capacity. This movie as well. I don't understand why you're buying an intellectual property. You're paying millions of dollars for the rights to use a comic book or for some speculative script to then make such a paint-by-numbers, boring storyline. How do you justify paying Evan Almighty, for example? I don't know how you justify paying $3 million for that because anyone could have come up with a plot for that movie in 15 minutes.
Sure.
Anyone who's ever seen a movie could have come up with that movie. It's so simple. This too. I don't know why you had to adapt a comic book to do this.
Well, I think the plot isn't bad. It just is
I'm not
overdone.
saying it's bad. I'm saying it's the 1,001st movie to do this plot.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel is a government contracted... he was a soldier, I guess. And the government, some private group, whoever the hell, I don't care enough to remember.
I don't think they really went into it.
They put, not really. They put nanites into him. With, tiny little robots that replace his blood. And so he can do superhuman stuff and kick through walls and whatever. He's Batman or Wolverine or whoever you want. Mm-hmm. And in so doing, they send him out. They augment his memories to make him think a different person killed his wife.
Spoiler
and
alert.
To pretend that he... they pretend as though his memories are wiped and then one just kind of bubbles up to the surface, but that's all engineered. And then he goes and kills his person, and then they shut him off, and they re-augment his memories, and he's a hitman, basically, but he doesn't know it. He thinks he's doing this righteous cause thing, bullshit. And then he finds out, and he kills the guy in charge of the operation for using him, and blah, 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 blah. He kills all the people who are... So, that is such a fucking...
This is the plot of the Wolverine.
Yeah, it's the plot of 1,000 other movies. Government agent, brainwashed...
Yep.
Finds out he's brainwashed, goes back and kills the people who brainwashed him.
Yep.
It was in a lot of the Winter Soldier guy was kind of his
motivation. I almost got it with Captain America.
I mean, it's every villain in all these movies. It's so boring that it makes you wonder why they made this movie. Yeah. And the answer is Vin Diesel wanted another excuse to punch through a concrete pillar.
I think also...
Because they already do that in Fast and the Furious. They might as well be superhuman, even though they never address it. They throw each other through concrete walls.
Lol.
Fucking whatever. Well, Riddick he kills a man with a teacup, which is where the word ridiculous comes from.
What? Sorry?
The scene in Riddick, ridiculous, that's where the word comes from. He kills 2 people, I think, with a teacup. So
why does the teacup become the ulus? Because of how ridiculous the scene itself is?
Oh, forget it.
I don't understand.
I know. So, in all these movies, in Triple X, he's not superhuman, but he's an extreme athlete, and his character does a bunch of stuff that I am 100% certain Vin Diesel cannot do. I don't think Vin Diesel could stand on a skateboard, much less ride one down whatever a mountain during an avalanche, whatever the hell. So he's basically a square. So, but it's just another Vin Diesel saw this comic book and went, "Oh, me," and so he said I want to do it because I want to be that. I want to be someone who punches someone else through a wall. He just needed an excuse to do that, as all of his movies exist to do. But the movie wasn't fucking there. This is a shitty movie.
I have a much less cynical view.
Let's hear it.
No, I don't think that this is like a Vin Diesel vanity project in the same way that you do. I feel like, you know, it's what he does. If someone came up to me and was like, "Hey dude, you are an action star, you like to punch through shit, here's another one," I'd be like, "Hell yeah, this is what I do." I think that the fact that like Marvel and DC are so big right now, like why would you not want to make another comic movie? Because everyone is doing it. Like I feel like it was probably, I can see where they're coming from in wanting to make this movie, but to your point, read the script, read the comic, and go, "Oh wait, we can't do this." Like pick a good comic. Don't pick this.
Maybe all the other ones are owned.
But then don't do it. Just put the movie away. Be like, "Oh, you know what? It was a good idea."
That's what I've been fucking saying.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I agree with you in that sense. I don't think that it was like Vin Diesel and him being like a vanity, whatever, or, but I agree that if someone had read the script, they should have said, "Wait a sec," or read the comic, they should have said, "Wait. Been there, done that. This isn't a good story."
Maybe the comic is interesting. I don't know. I've never read it, but the movie certainly wasn't interesting. And I think, Vin Diesel's in his 50s. I don't know why they're still pushing him as the actor. And the action,
I'm fine with too.
I don't care. But then he's very clearly in his 50s. And then the fucking love interest is 28 or something.
That was weird.
It's weird. His ex-wife is 33, and his love interest, who then kind of supplants her, because it's a false memory and all this stupid bullshit. Don't watch this goddamn movie. So his wife, who he's killing all these people to avenge or save, whatever, is 20 years his junior, and then his love interest at the end of the movie is 25 years his junior. It's just preposterous.
I didn't find her to be the love interest, but
well, maybe she was. Fine.
They might have intended it to be that way. It just wasn't convincing to me, but
because the man's geriatric,
and they didn't really. They had one scene together, really. Like they spoke twice.
Yeah. Well, did you find him? Because you asked this of The Room before the movie started. If you said, is Vin Diesel attractive?
Yeah.
And the answer was a resounding unanimous no.
It was so funny. The
man looks like a human bulldog.
I asked my mother, because she's the only other woman in the room, and my brother and my father in sync both just go no immediately, so I thought that was really funny. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Jason Statham and The Rock, who, again, is just who the characters from Hobbs and Shaw, but, I don't know, I think they're both really cute in their own way, and my mom is, like, in love with The Rock, and she thinks he's the most beautiful man in the world, so when I see Vin Diesel, I'm just like, So, what are you doing?
I'm looking something up.
Okay.
I'm looking up something about Vin Diesel. But yeah, Vin Diesel, do you find him to be even moderately attractive? No.
There were a couple of scenes where I was like, okay, maybe, but then it didn't, and his voice is weird. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Vin Diesel is. I've seen The Exorcist. I think he's possessed by the devil. I think that's what's going on with his voice.
It's weird. It's alarming. And again, like I feel like The Rock is so beautiful, but I think that he's attractive despite his muscles. Like I think he's a bit too big for me, but Vin Diesel, it's like he's not as attractive and he still has the muscles, so it's like two negatives for me. Plus the voice, I'm just like, The
muscles are negative?
Yeah, like being fit and being capable of like lifting things, big man, like that's hot, but then when you get to the point of The Rock and the point, like what you were saying where he's a square and he can't even ride a skateboard, like to me it's like that's too much. Like you can still be fit and muscular, and once you lose your agility, to me I'm like, okay, you're not now it's working against you in my opinion.
So you don't really care about size, you care more about athletic prowess.
Yeah.
Interesting. So this says
like your build, you are like fit and a little bit muscular, but you're not.
Well, I'm enormous.
You're not like what you and my brother were saying about your veins popping after you work out or whatever. It's like I don't need that. It's not. I don't want you to work out, and the second you start working out, your veins start to swell and your, muscles get all bulgy. Like, that horrifies me.
So I have a point.
Yeah.
If I may.
Yep.
And the point is this. What do you think Vin Diesel's real name is? And don't tell me you thought it was Vin Diesel.
Vincent Diesel? What do you mean?
Vincent D'Onofrio Diesel III.
I didn't realize that his
Esquire.
name was fake. Is The Rock's name fake? What?
Yeah.
No, I don't know. What is it?
Yeah.
It's like Edward.
Dwayne the Cock Johnson. Dwayne the Rock Hard Johnson.
Coxon.
You had to change it, obviously.
What is his real name? Is it Daniel?
Keep guessing.
Is it Edwin?
You're getting lateral movement here. You're not getting any closer or further.
Is it... I don't know. Rob, tell me. It doesn't make good radio for me to just guess names for 20 minutes.
Yeah, Mark is his first name. Mm-hmm. And his last name?
Just tell me, babe.
Go
It's
ahead.
even harder to guess.
Go ahead. You'll get it.
Johnson.
Mark
Diesel.
Diesel. No, Mark Sinclair.
How would I fucking guess that?
I don't know. Maybe you heard it before.
Mark Sinclair? Why would you change that name? Sinclair is such a cool last name. Fucking Vin Diesel? Really? That's
Diesel.
what you come up with?
I mean, he has to... This is what I'm saying. The man is addicted to portraying himself as an action star, which is fine. You're an action star, but it's a lot. And so he's apparently going to be in Avatar 2.
Weird. He's probably gonna be a warrior, man.
But he wasn't in Avatar 1, was he?
No. When is Avatar coming out?
This says Avatar 2 has a release date, and who knows if this is still true at the end of the world, is December 17th, 2021, which is about a year and a half from now.
That seems like too long.
So you'd think the filming was, well, maybe not done. You'd think it is.
I would bet that, like, a lot of that is editing. So
for sure.
They
I mean,
can
the
do
first
that
one
remotely, right?
I don't know.
Or I think the issue about filming movies is that you have to have a lot of people in a small space. So I think if you're editing, you wouldn't necessarily need, or they could outsource it to an editing studio.
I don't know. I would think that they've probably already shot all of it, because the first Avatar movie took, I think, 10, 12, whatever years to make.
What?
Yeah, it took a really... Let me look it up.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Okay, whatever. And everyone lost their mind about it. Imagine if it had gotten no praise at all and it was, like, not a good movie and they just took 10 years to make it.
I mean, it wasn't a good movie. It was just very fun to look at.
Well, everyone was obsessed.
I know, don't get me wrong, it did exceptionally well.
I agree.
But
I mean, I think it was, like, that subtle thing where everyone was like, this is about race, you guys. This is about destroying our world. And about taking over indigenous populations. Indigenous.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah, I felt like
you almost didn't, but then you said.
No, I just stuttered. Indigenous.
Indigenous.
Anyway, I feel like
Engines of Fate.
People felt like that was a hot take, I think, at the time. So I think it was more like, this movie is really, it's telling us something about our world and about the people in it. And therefore it deserves the Oscars. What are you looking at?
Oscars? I'm reading about Avatar.
Wasn't it best?
No.
Or it was like the highest grossing movie.
It won. Yeah. It was the highest grossing movie. I think a lot of that was due to the fact that it was all 3D tickets, but which
Oh. That's cheating.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
Was it only 3D tickets?
It wasn't only, but it was.
Oh, okay. Because we saw it in 3D.
Of them. Development of Avatar began. Well, this was with the 80-page treatment in 1994.
What do you mean, the 80-page treatment?
A treatment is an early version of a script, basically, where it's an outline and. So.
Bless you.
Thank you. Work on the language of the film's extraterrestrial beings began in 2005. began developing the screen. Okay, so he began developing all the interviews I've seen with James Cameron. He talked about it being 15 years in the works, but that just meant he had this idea that he didn't make into anything for 10 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not.
Started developing the screenplay in early 2006. Okay,
that makes more sense. When did it come out? Like 2013?
No, late 2009.
Oh, that adds up.
Yeah, we were
to
in
me.
high school.
Yeah, I remember my whole family saw it. It was a whole event.
Some of the budget estimates, Jesus, put the cost at $300 million for production.
Oh my
and
God.
$150 million more for promotion.
Oh.
Good
Jesus.
Lord. Jesus is right. So why do you think... I thought it took a very, very long time because James Cameron said it took
really
a very long
stupid.
time. And then, I don't think it... Let's see what it won. I think it won all the awards for effects and all that, but I don't think it won Best Picture. I'm pretty...
Okay, well, it still won Oscars.
Yes, that's fair. Let's see. Production, marketing, release. No, nothing. Initial screening. Box office. This is fun. This is good.
Let's talk more about Bloodshot, maybe?
Yeah, Bloodshot.
Okay, Rob has nothing.
I'm just reading about Mark Sinclair.
So, as I was saying, the scene with the, like, you were commenting that Vin Diesel looks like he's 50, and it's weird.
He is 50.
Or, sure, but he looks it. And then, again, when he was coming out of the flower and when he was coming out of the smoke, they gave him, spoiler alert, bloodshot eyes, because that was what happens when the little nanites in him are depleted, I guess, to a dangerous level. He gets weird-looking eyes. And, like, him coming out, like, I think they must have, like, HDR'd the scene or something. Like, the way that they edited it, he looked so old and so bad. And it just was, like, that was supposed to be his, and it was in slow motion, and it was supposed to be his coming out of the smoke looking like a bad bitch, I just took down the enemy kind of scene. Like, it's supposed to be where the actor looks his absolute best.
Yeah.
And he looked 100
climax
years old.
of the movie. They made his skin gray.
It was weird. Yeah, they like, removed all the color from his face, made his pupils humongous, and then, like, made every single wrinkle in his face so pronounced. It was just, like, and, like, they flattened the colors in the light. It just looked so bad. So that was my visual comment of this movie, but, yeah, go ahead.
No.
Oh. I forget, in the podcast that we listened to about it, they said that, they had a problem with his wife. I forget what it was, but they were just like, it wasn't a good romance story, which I think...
It wasn't a romance story.
Yeah.
I mean, there was really, realistically, no romance story in this at all, because the one, again, spoiler alert, he has, fucking whatever, go fuck yourself. It's a shitty movie, and it's a shitty podcast. What do you fucking expect? So,
Yeah, it's funny, because you're the one that didn't want to spoil it.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't care. I don't care if the movies are terrible and worth...
Oh, okay.
Not even really worth talking about.
If we're recommending them,
the engine for the first act of this movie is that he's killing these people as a hitman because they augment his memories and implant false ones, I guess, entirely. And they made him think his wife has been murdered. And then, so that's the only romance, is that he sees his wife murdered.
But the only time that we see his wife, it's like, they literally, like, have one night together on vacation where they fuck.
I know. This is the point I'm making, is that there's no romance in it. He is in a scene with his wife, really, and then beyond that, the second half of the movie, the other woman is not romantically involved with him, which that actually surprises me. I don't care if there are action movies without a fucking romance plot. That's fine, frankly. It's not why I'm watching these action movies. I don't know why every single action movie has to have... I don't care if you save the girl. Go save the planet from being blown up or whatever.
Yeah.
Stop this evil organization from making bioweapons. It doesn't... You don't also have to do this James Bond thing where you pork 4 women.
Oh, I could go on a whole romance action movie tangent.
Right, so this movie doesn't have the romance, but that surprises me because Vin Diesel always is so obsessed with having every single woman in every single movie he's in hanging off of his balls that I really don't... That came out of left field for me. I thought the woman at the end, he was for sure going to put his dick inside. And he didn't. At least not on screen. There wasn't any penetration. So that surprised me.
I think that, again, like, maybe that was the intention, where they wanted us to think that they were having sex or whatever. But there wasn't even a kiss. There wasn't even a shared glance. Like, it was very... Although she, like, came into his memories at one point, and he was like, I know you. you're KT. So maybe that was
Yeah, but that...
the romance that they were trying to make?
No, I don't think so. I think that
know.
was just supposed to be
Yeah.
I think that was just supposed to be a storyline moment where he's now remembering stuff that they're trying to erase from his memory.
Okay.
I don't think that had anything. That could have been anyone.
You
His
know
friend
else?
happened to be a woman. But yeah, there was
I think
strange,
it was...
somewhat sexual undertones that never really got explored or expounded upon, which is, again, fine. It's just very... Because I'm watching this movie and I know what this stupid fucking movie is supposed to be, I kept expecting it.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen. It was just confusing.
Although,
it, in retrospect, made me wonder why they had put those moments and those bits of foreshadowing into the first and second act of the movie.
Yeah.
It made no sense. So again, all this movie set up with the from moment to moment in these scenes and from scene to scene within the scope of the movie, it kept setting up things like that that it never really paid off.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well,
also, the way end.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Where like all of the drama is over, and then they realize that they're safe. Everyone is good. No one is dead. Everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And then the assistant or whatever is like, "Oh, the girl's waiting for you outside." And I was like, "This is so like it's Fast and Furious-esque to a T, where like it's literally a beautiful sunset over the water." I was like, "This is what you guys do, where like you drive off into the sunset."
Yeah,
it was gross.
I was surprised there wasn't a Corona ad somewhere in the middle of it.
Yeah, it was weird, and again, it was like maybe that was where we're supposed to think that they live happily ever after.
It's all about family.
But yeah, like it was such a Fast and Furious scene, and I was just like, ew, like this doesn't need to be involved. Oh, whatever. Anyway. Overall, any thoughts? I don't know what we're like looking like for time.
Oh, we could stop now if we wanted to, but yeah,
we're still early.
42 minutes is fine, but I don't fucking care. But I'm thinking about the movie
Please go
now.
off.
That's the thing. I can't really go off because I'm trying to think of something to latch onto, good or bad, and there's not much there. The sequence at the end was interesting, where the guy put on this weird spider suit to fight Vin Diesel, and he was kind of like Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Similar to Doc Ock because he had bionic legs to begin with, and then he had 2 or 4? I don't remember, bionic arms with the addition of this suit backpack thing, these enhancements. And so that was kind of fun to watch, but...
Yeah, that was cool.
Besides that was the highlight of the movie, and that was the only scene worth watching. And the rest of it was just kind of slow and boring and plodding along. There wasn't enough interesting action in it to be a full action movie.
Yeah.
But, it was all action, supposedly, but then it was just too slow to... Go ahead.
I can go off on something, actually,
Please,
but...
Go ahead. No, go off.
Please.
Go off.
Okay. So they had this whole thing with the nanites, where basically Vin Diesel's character was... he needed his nanites to be replenished or charged every so often.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was that it wasn't an issue because when he was a hitman, he would go, complete his mission, come back, and they would put him to sleep, recharge him, do the memory thing and whatever. So that was never an issue.
That's 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Go ahead.
Shocking. Although it's still bad.
But, it's pretty abysmal.
Yeah. But anyway, pay attention to me, please.
Yeah.
So they made this whole thing about how the nanites need to be recharged, and then he never recharged his nanites. Like, he ran away and rebelled and whatever, and then he was like, fuck you guys, I'm not recharging my fucking nanites. And, like, I think it happened 2 separate times in the movie where he was depleted of nanites or whatever. Not a single fucking consequence. Like, he took it too far, and then he, like, fell asleep for a little while, I guess. But, like, right after he finished his mission, both times. That really pissed me off, where...
Yeah, it was strange. And it's weird. Because the conceit of the movie is that you can shoot him in the face with a shotgun. He's the Terminator, basically. Go watch The Terminator. It came out 35 years before this movie, and it's vastly superior. And it has well, maybe not sequels, plural, but it has a sequel that's excellent, and it has other sequels that are okay, and some that are terrible. But go watch The Terminator. It's a much better version of this movie.
Arnold's another one of those.
They beat them to the punch by almost 40 years. So
Yeah.
By a lifetime, really. So, I would say in this movie wherein nothing can ever kill him or hurt him, the only thing that
what
can...
are the stakes?
Right, what are the stakes? I'm supposed to believe they brought him back from the dead to begin with. That's the conceit of this movie. That's the foundation this movie's built upon. So even if they turn off his nanites and manage to kill him, which they do at the end, kind of. Even if that happens, why am I supposed to believe that he's not going to just be brought back from the dead?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing where it's, again, in these action movies, you expect that everything, he's going to get the girl, he's going to save the world. You don't think you're going to watch a movie where Vin Diesel fails to be Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
But because of that, you have to have more to it. There has to be more interesting. If you're going to just prop this movie up with 100% action and no plot and no character development, no suspense, really, then make the action good. And
Yeah.
they didn't.
Yep.
Frankly, they made it mediocre, but the movie was already too mediocre to be held up by mediocre action.
Sure. To finish the point that I had about the fucking nanites too, not even the fact that it was like, oh, there are no stakes, he can't die. It just, there was like humongous plot holes where like he was depleted of nanites, and then the guy who was monitoring his nanites said, uh-oh, we are at 0.
Yeah.
He uses that like 0.01% to kill the Doc Ock guy. He thrusts them both into the ground. He had bloodshot eyes while they were falling.
Oh, I thought that was earlier.
No, I'm pretty sure what happened in my memory.
This stupid fucking movie. I
Wait.
think you're wrong, but I don't even fucking know, man. I think he didn't have one until the very end where he ended up martyrizing himself.
In my memory, he
Kind of. 'Cause he didn't
basically depleted his nanites, and then his eyes got bloodshot. He killed the Doc Ock guy, stood up, and then, yes, it was that scene, remember? Because then they were like, he was like, oh, your nanites are depleted, now all that's left is you, and he said, and that's enough.
Right, that wasn't Doc Ock.
He had already killed Doc Ock.
Right, but that didn't happen until that moment where he hit 0 and had to just be himself. The hero gets his powers, this was coming to whatever, Jesus moment. That didn't happen until the very end, after he'd already hit the ground. He was on the way down. Right,
but in terms of the timetable, it was like less than 30 seconds. He was like depleted. He uses that little bit of energy to kill the guy, and then he goes and kills another guy. That's what I'm saying.
Poking holes in the mechanics of this movie is exceptionally easy.
No, but I'm saying the whole point. Yeah, the whole point of like having it be the hero is so cool and so good would be him losing his nanites and then still killing Doc Ock. It's like, oh, good job. You were depleted, but you managed to do your job. Yeah. But then he gets up and goes to kill another guy. It's like, no, you can't. What? Like, that didn't make any sense. And then, like, it's supposed to be, like, that scene is supposed to be his big hero, holy shit. Like, with Superman, when you're like, oh, this is how powerful he is. He is unstoppable.
It's supposed to be a show of force.
Yes.
But it's...
And it wasn't.
It's
and
the opposite of that. Right?
Exactly. It was like, I'm so depleted, I'm just gonna kill you as a boring man. And then, even then, he took, like, 3 shots to the fucking face.
Yeah, I didn't really understand. They keep bringing him back to life. If they have this technology, I don't understand why they couldn't have used it on other people. It didn't make... This movie was shitty.
Well, he was the first experiment, apparently.
I know, so then do it on someone else.
Yeah,
do it
like,
on
immediately
yourself,
after.
Man. Yeah. It was a shitty, stupid movie. Whatever. Don't see this movie. Would you recommend it, Jess?
If you're bored,
I would say if you like Vin Diesel or like stupid action movies, and you can get this movie for free, and you don't have anything else to watch, fine.
It was entertaining. Like, I had a good time watching it, I think.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. So, you were on your phone a lot. So
I'm always on my phone a lot.
So I would say if you can get this movie for free and like stupid mediocre action movies, fine, but don't watch this movie. There are other better action movies in this same genre and vein. There are other better Vin Diesel action movies. Go watch The Chronicles of Riddick. Frankly, it's better. It's better than this. I mean, this is. Find a movie for free that you can watch. That's stupid. Like this movie is stupid.
Yeah.
Don't pay $8 to see this movie.
Yeah, not worth it. This was a bad movie week. We also got conned into watching MI5.
Yeah.
I thought we were watching Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. We were not. We were watching...
Well, that's not even...
No, I know, but I'm just saying...
Kit Harington movie. Yeah, well, we'll watch something good next time.
That'd be great. Okay. Yeah, please, God.
Well, see you later, Pod Racers.